Hello, I'm Dr. P, and this is the introduction to Land Swimmer, the standard course. Land Swimmer is an exercise program designed around modified swimming strokes and some decompression exercises for the back, both upper and lower. It's easy from the standpoint of equipment because you are the equipment. It's easy from the standpoint of the exercises because if you've been a swimmer, you already know a fair amount of this, and if you've never been a swimmer, we're going to teach it to you, some today and then on each of the sessions. The course is divided into this introduction, followed by 4 sessions. Each one of these is like a lesson. The first 3 will each go through the strokes themselves and the decompression exercises each time. At the end of the first session, there'll be a pause, and then you rejoin us and you do your first 30 of each of the strokes. We do not go into the decompression exercises in the first session in the standard course. In the second session, you'll again be refamiliarized with all of the strokes and with the rollers again, only this time you will be doing 60 of the individual strokes and 30 to 60, depending on your condition, of the rollers. I recommend only going with 30 in the second session and then going back through that session when you are up to doing 60 as far as the rollers are concerned. Those are the decompression exercises. In the third session, we will again refamiliarize you with the swimming strokes and the rollers, and we will then do what we call the last third, which is another 30 of each. That brings you up to basically 90% of the course. You're over the hump. In the fourth session, with a brief review, we will then do what we call the 600. That is 100 of each of the swimming strokes and 100 of each of the decompressions. At the end of that, you have mastered the standard course of Land Swimmer. I want to go back and talk about some of the mechanics of this thing. You will be doing these strokes, but some of you are in fair condition, some of you are not in good condition at all. The key to Land Swimmer is it is a low impact, low burn exercise system. It's built around a thing called platforms. The platforms basically are an imaginary square that you form when you do one stroke of the swimming stroke, the next stroke of the next stroke, the next stroke of the next stroke, the next stroke of the last stroke. Those strokes are made up of butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. Each of those platforms, in effect, is building. So when you get the first 10 platforms done, you're 1/3 through the first session, second third, third third. At the same time, you're practicing on the rollers, but we are not going to do the rollers after the pause in the first session. So on in the second session, keeping it short, you will be up to 60 platforms, and before you're done with the second session, you'll be up to 60 of each of the rollers, and in the third one, you will be up to 90 of the repetitions, 90 of the platforms, and again, 90 of each of the rollers. Session 4, that is our finale. You add another 10%, another 10 of each of the repetitions and 10 of each of the decompression exercises, and you're at the 600, which is our marker. Those of you that haven't been doing much exercise at all can literally start, and probably should, with one platform, or if necessary, a single stroke. As long as you keep adding every day, no matter how slow you're going to get the benefit of this particular exercise course. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the strokes briefly, and I'm going to demonstrate the rollers briefly, okay? We like to do them in a specific order because this works you the hardest at the beginning of each of these sessions, and it tones down as you go along. So our first stroke is butterfly. It's a little different than the one you swim in the pool, the ocean, or the pond. Arms up over the head, we come down in front, we come back, we make that butterfly, we come down again, and so forth. However, we also have a kick. In lieu of the butterfly kick and all that dolphin movement, we do a small crunch. The crunch exercises the same muscles, and when you get into the higher numbers, you'll feel that you're tightening up all the way from your hips down to your toes. So let's look at this again. Upper, and then lower. It doesn't matter if you do the crunch after the stroke, you do the crunch before the stroke, or you do it all at the same time. It is whatever works best for you. Following the butterfly, we go into backstroke. Arms over the head, and it is a pretty specific backstroke. The body rotates a little bit with it, but this is an upper body primarily exercise for us. However, as you get into the higher numbers, you will again feel that everything is moving a little bit down here and preserving your balance, and you're getting exercise again from the hips to the toes. The next one for us is breaststroke. Our breaststroke, arms come out over the head together, come down the side together, come back again, and form. Now this is not the same as being in the water. We're standing straight up, and we're bringing it up over our head and down to our sides. Again, with breaststroke, this is a full body exercise for us. So there is again a crunch in lieu of the frog kick that you normally would be doing with the breaststroke. But again, the muscles are being exercised. So let's do it together. Over the head and down, crunch, over the head and down right next to your body, as so. Now, we finish with our set of reps, creating a first platform with freestyle, which is, in our opinion, the easiest of the group. Again, it's upper body only. We make the same paddle movements that we do with the backstroke, but we do it facing forwards. Backstroke, you're going behind you. Freestyle, you're going in front of you. Now, we'll have pause minimally here while we readjust the camera. Stand by. All right, I'm on the floor to demonstrate how this works for you. Basically, we have an upper body and a lower body exercise that will stretch your back, relax your back, decompress your back, and it's the way we want you to end one of these sessions or individual practices. We're going to do with the one from the top first. And we're going to be doing the standard method. I'll come back to some other methods momentarily. Arms come up, perpendicular to the floor. And then we roll to the left and roll to the right. And this keeps going. In theory, practice it in the first session, start doing it in the second session. Reason why we wait about it till the second session is to let you build up some muscle strength throughout your body before you start this. When you do start it slow. The thing in land swimmer is it can never be too slow, only too fast. Now let's look at the lower part. The legs come up, you have a 90-degree angle from your thigh or femur to your backbone or vertebral columns. Okay, here we go. Now on this one, on our standard, the knees are together, and again, we rotate however slowly we need to, and it should be slow in the beginning. Don't hurt yourself. First to one side, then to the other, keeping the elbows flat on the ground. Now, if you're one of these folks where you can't help it, don't worry about it. As you keep on exercising, over time this will get better because your flexibility will get better and your strength will get better. Now, that has shown you the strokes, that has shown you the decompression exercises. The key to the program, as I say, is low impact, low burn. You're going to muscle up with this without having to sweat if you do it the right way. You're going to lose weight with this the same way. You're doing movements that are natural to the body, and as far as the body's concerned, they're necessary. So the body is designed to improve with this. Obviously, if you are one of our heavier people, you can stick with your diet you are on, but you must not increase it while you're doing this for it to have the full effect. If you want to take the time to go on a good diet at the same time, that's your choice. But you're going to get results with land swimmer because that's the way it's designed. The body is designed for two main functions as far as heavy physical activity: running and swimming. We are the swimming part that takes you to land. Now we got to talk about a few disclaimers. Every exercise program does. I'll start with the most important one. You have to face the fact that if you do land swimmer, you do it at your own risk. Just like if you go in the water and there's no lifeguard. But we go in the water, most of us, wherever there's a good place to go, every day is summer that we can get to it. Those with a pool would say the same thing, I suspect. But you got to use your common sense. If you have any kind of a medical problem, you need to get cleared by your doctor. I recommend that everybody, whether they have a problem or not, gets cleared by their doctor, because sometimes you find surprises when your physician goes over you and they haven't done it in a while. To be specific, any kind of heart problem, blood pressure problem, kidney problem, pulmonary problem, diabetes or other endocrine diseases, any kind of joint problems or surgeries, both abdominal, thoracic, and orthopedic, you've got to get permission from those specialists. What you're going to be doing is not high stress, but they've got to approve it. We have no way of clearing you from here. Second major caution on this is if you're doing the exercises and you start to hurt, you stop. This program is designed primarily for people 40 and over because they need something that they can get to easily, do easily, and get results. And this does all of that. But because you are 40 and over, you got other things happening to you and have been through stuff people younger than you have not. We got to be careful together. There is a written disclaimer that will be following this introduction. It covers the stuff again in a little bit greater detail. Another thing, you get short of breath, you stop. You can then try again and slow it in a much slower fashion, and if you're okay, you're okay. But I still would say if you have sudden shortness of breath, I'd talk to my physician first before doing anything else. And then there's the obvious one. If you have chest pain or you start feeling faint, you stop immediately. You get to an ER or your doctor. Call your doctor, they'll tell you which. Call the ER, they'll probably tell you come on down. I'm not expecting this to be a major problem, but I am telling you caution, caution, caution at the beginning. And the key to success in land swimmer is to complete the program. It is not how fast you can complete it. All right, that concludes the introduction. These are useful as we can.